This is a death where both the heart and lungs stopped working. And the point is that it's due to law enforcement subdual, restraint, and compression.
Did you rule out drug overdose as a cause of death?
Yes.
And that's an opinion you hold to a reasonable degree of medical certainty?
Yes.
The cause of death is a low level of oxygen that caused the brain damage and caused the heart to stop.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
Let me hear you say Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
What's up, family? My name is Shay.
I'm Dre, your favorite cameraman.
And normally you would see us operating behind the scenes as a part of the Corona crew. But today, we're coming to you as a part of the Justice for the Next Generation Coalition, bringing you this week's edition of Live at 5.
Yes, family, that's right, that's right. You know, we've been in these streets, and you know, we can't stop. There's still work to continue. You know, our country, our nation, our world is continuing to just see so many acts and actions of just racial segregation and hatred, and we got to continue to tear it down. So, you know, just for the next generation, we've been in these streets, and because we've been in these streets, we felt like this was a perfect time to just reflect on everything that we've done over the past year, and also leading up to something big happening tomorrow.
Yes, so as you all may or may not know, our dear brother in Elizabeth City, Andrew Brown Jr., was killed by the police, execution style. And you know, we're not finna stand for that. So instead of, you know, getting upset, well, we are upset.
Oh, yeah.
But we're gonna take our anger out on the streets where it really matters. So tomorrow, we are gonna be marching on the streets of Elizabeth City, and standing with the Andrew Brown Jr. family and marching for criminal justice reform. So, before we get into that, though, we want to take you all the way back to one of our first marches on July 11th, 2020. Y'all check this out.
That's why we say Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Period.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Truth to power.
I'm proud of you.
We love you.
And sometimes, no matter how hard we try, we are out here because we don't own anything, but our blood is still stained.
Still.
Because of that monument. And we are out here trying to own our sanity and our say. But let me tell you, I don't want you to get caught up in this criminal justice system.
That's right.
I want you to make it up in your mind that you're going to peacefully organize, that you're going to peacefully have these fearless dialogues, that you're going to peacefully assemble. Amen. So that if anything happens to you or me, we will know that we have the full weight of our community and the law, the right side of the law, on our side.
Who's bail? 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 Hey, look. Who's street? Who's street? Who's street? Who's street? Who's street? Who's street? Who's sidewalk? Who's sidewalk?
y'all. Bring it in. Bring it in. Turn your backs. Turn your backs.
Everybody go over here.
Back this way. Engage with this.
You all have won today. This is a victory for us. We had our march. We had our rally. They said that we were Antifa. They said that we were coming to vandalize these businesses.
Lies.
They said that we were coming with guns.
Lies.
They said that we were coming with violence.
Lies.
And the only violence we had was our voices today.
Come on.
And I'm proud of you today. Now, let's move on.
Whew. I don't know about you, but watching that video or those clips just like made me relive that day all over again. Like I feel like I was back in those streets in Alamance County. One thing I did want to point out is the fact that, you know, Pastor kept mentioning us being peaceful.
Yeah.
You know, kept emphasizing to us as the group at large, you know, we're coming in peace. We're not coming to vandalize your property. We're not coming to beat up on y'all.
Right.
Like, we're just coming to make some noise in the city because obviously us staying at home ain't doing nothing. So that's one thing that really just is sticking with me, because every single time we come together to march, that's the main thing that he is trying to emphasize to us, and to emphasize to the people on the other side, you know, saying that because they accuse us of trying to, like he said in the video, vandalizing their property, vandalizing their businesses and things like that. And that's not our MO. That's not our aim. Our aim is just to make sure that you know that our lives matter too.
Right. You know, and I believe what Pastor's lifting up is very important, because around that time in the country, you know, people were very angry for everything happening with George Floyd.
Yep.
So, you know, what the media was portraying was, oh, all these protesters are angry. They're no one's even hearing what the purpose of what they're even talking about is for. So it was important, it was crucial that we stood in solidarity in peaceful protest, so people knew that, look, we're not here for that. We're here to let this message be heard. You're going to see us and you're gonna hear us,
and you're gonna feel us too,
period. Okay. And you know, they were so mad that we came peacefully that they kept ringing that bell all day long while Pastor was speaking all day long. And so, you know what, you know, some of our group went over there and rang the bell because we would see, okay, what's the purpose of this bell? But you saw when we went over there to ring the bell, oh, they got mad, upset, they got heated. You know, they were so frustrated that, you know, even one of our people who was just trying to get some documents to Pastor, one of our brothers, you know, got detained for no reason. As a matter of fact, no reason at all. Thank you, sound man, back there. No reason at all. But you know, we have a clip showing the aftermath of that. You know, with Pastor speaking to Sheriff Terry Johnson. Let's check that out.
Thank you for making it a peaceful protest.
When the deputies arrested my son,
It's your son.
he was bringing me the program. That's all he was doing. He's an organizer. If anybody should have been able to let him come across this tape, it should have been one of our organizers.
He come from behind, and they didn't know who it was. You know what he was doing.
The sheriff, he's been out here since 8 o'clock this morning.
I understand that. Do you know how many people we've been having to look at and watch and things like that?
Yes, sir.
So as y'all can see, and as you can see, like, they detained our brother because he literally fit the profile.
Yep.
That's all it was.
Yep.
He had a shirt on showing that he was one of the organizers. He even had a badge showing, hey, I'm part
crew,
of
clearly.
Justice for the Next Generation crew, but yet you still detain me. You know, we deal with this week in and week out, day in and day out. We just get profiled.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. I know another thing for me, honestly, this is, a little personal, but so when we turn the corner to actually get onto the court square, and you just see this, so you have us in the center, taking up majority of the streets, right? And then to the right, you see this small group of Confederates. Even though it was a smaller group compared to us, it was still a lot of them, and it was mind blowing to see. But so we don't want to take up all the time. We got some more people who want to share their experiences with our Justice March. So, Sam, tell us about your experience with the I Am Change March.
I know he will. Mic check. All right, y'all. So, my March experience comes from October 30th, which was our I Am Change March. It was our first march in a couple months, so for me, leading up to it, I kind of had the jitters. Not gonna lie, it was our first march in a while, so I was wondering, will we be able to make it as good as we did make the march back in the summer? Now this march wasn't a normal march, so we had our guest, which has been growing very closely with Greg Drumwright, Ben Crump. So Ben Crump actually came to that march in Greensboro whenever we was trying to get people to register to vote. Early registration was still allotted at that time, and it was just such a pivotal moment in our history. As y'all can see these photos here, as we was marching to our clock tower on A&T's campus. One of the things that Ben Crump mentioned during his speech, which we will play a short video for that shortly, he talked about how our future kids are on the ballot and how George Floyd's family blood is on the ballot. And that kind of speaks to our name, Justice for the Next Generation, because of course we know, justice won't happen now, but it's something that we have to work towards. This is something that will take time, and this is something that we are hoping to have for our next generation. So we're just going to play out this small clip from the march, so tune up.
Thank you, Reverend Drumwright, and to the Justice for the Next Generation.
Justice for the next generation.
I want y'all to do me a favor. I want you to repeat after me. Put your fist in the sky.
Put your fist in the sky.
Get it up, raise it high.
Get it up, raise it high.
Put your fist in the sky.
Put your fist in the sky.
Get it up, raise it high.
Get it up, raise it high.
Put your fist in the sky.
Put your fist in the sky.
Get it up, raise it high.
Get it up, raise it high.
Put your fist in the sky.
Put your fist in the sky.
Get it up, raise it high.
Get it up, raise it high.
Put your fist in the sky.
Put your fist in the sky.
Get it up, raise it high.
Get it up, raise it high.
Get your fist in the sky.
Get your fist in the sky.
Get it up, raise it high.
Get it up, raise it high.
Thank you. I am so happy to be home, Reverend Drumwright, because I was born in Lumberton, North Carolina. So I am home. I'm Attorney Ben Crump, and I want to publicly thank Reverend Greg Drumwright and the Justice for the New Generation for when we were fighting for justice for my client, Ahmaud Arbery, who was lynched for jogging while black in Brunswick, Georgia. Greg and Justice for New Generation came to Georgia. Thank you publicly for when we were fighting for our client, Sister Breonna Taylor, who was lynched in her own apartment by the Louisville Metropolitan Police, executing a dangerous, unconstitutional violation of our Fourth Amendment rights against search and seizure at 1 o'clock in the morning and mutilated her with bullets while she was in her underwear. Reverend Greg Drumwright and justice for the next generation came to Louisville.
So, family, what you just heard were some of the remarkable words from Attorney Ben Crump, who has been standing toe-to-toe, shoulder-to-shoulder with us just for the next generation, and our pastor, you know, as we've been on this justice movement thus far. And that was actually one of the first times that Ben Crump actually marched with us and spoke with us at one of those events, you know, and just to hear his words. Well, first of all, Attorney Ben Crump, every time he speaks, I'm just on the edge of my chair like, what's he going to say next?
Exactly. Exactly. Like, I never would have thought, like, in a million years, you know, Ben Crump, because, you know, you've heard about him on the Ahmaud Arbery case. And so whenever pastor's like, you know, I'm working with Ben Crump, or we're working with Ben Crump, I'm like, what? Like, shook. I was shook.
Yeah, it felt really good to like let people know that, like, even when the George Floyd trial was going on, to know that my pastor was someone has been selected to be a part of Ben Crump's legal team, you know, and to be someone to provide spiritual aid to the Floyd family. Like, that's something really to be proud of. You know what I'm saying? How God is opening doors. Shout out to you, Pastor.
Right,
you're doing great things.
So proud of you.
Yes, yes. And then what was great about that event too was that was the first time where we got to actually stand in the streets and kneel with some of George Floyd's family. Brooke Wilson was out there, and some of the family, I believe from Houston. Williams. She was out there with some of the family from Houston who kneeled in the streets in solidarity for George Floyd. And it's just a momentous moment, honestly.
Definitely. So we know that the I Am Change March was a 2-day event. So we had one, which what you just saw was on the 30th, and then we had another march on the 31st. So we got Corey and T. Thomas that are going to tell us a little bit, well, a lot about what happened on October 31st.
How you doing, fam? Good to see you again, Tanisha Thomas and myself here. Look, before we get started, we're going to actually roll this clip for you. Some of you may have seen it, but it's going to set the tone for what's about to happen. Stay tuned.
Surrounded by cries for justice and equality, and we pray that you will strengthen our hearts and fortify our resolve, that pride, suspicion, and racism may be stripped away, and together all your people may seek peace and impartiality as we create the beloved community that you have called and sanctioned us to be from creation.
We are following a developing story in Graham. A voting rally ended when police pepper sprayed and arrested marchers after police say they blocked traffic. According to the Burlington Times News, hundreds of people gathered near the courthouse this afternoon to hear people talk about voting rights.
Marchers posted on social media showing the gathering in Graham outside the Alamance County Courthouse. Police say the group began blocking traffic, which led officers to spray pepper spray at the ground. Those in the crowd say that is not what happened.
You pepper sprayed children.
Marchers to the polls could be heard gasping and coughing. Some of them helped others back to their feet and doused water in their eyes after they say tear gas was used on them. In a statement, the North Carolina Democratic Party says, quote, the actions of these officers represents completely unwarranted police hostility and voter suppression. This group of North Carolinians was fully within their First Amendment rights to hold their protest and march to the polls.
Justice for the next generation!
Justice for the next generation!
Family, as you saw and as you already know, this was the march from October 31st. This is the march that we are actually pretty famous for around here, just for the next generation. The march that actually put us on the map. Tanisha Thomas and I are here to actually let you know some things you didn't know that you were remiss for being able to know and realize that this march was actually really beautiful before it got ugly. This march was actually really great the I Am Changed March had a purpose, and sadly, we were not able to get to that purpose because of what the police and the sheriff's department did to us on that day. As you can see through these pictures we're about to show you, we literally gathered peacefully. We literally got on the street ready to march for change. This is us gathering in the parking lot in front of the church where the pastor of this church said a prayer. And as you heard in the video, it was very beautiful. We were building community. Pastor Drumwright was literally giving marching orders, telling us we were going to be peaceful, telling us we were going to vote, telling us we were going to create community, you know, things that they said we weren't doing. Go ahead, next picture. This is us taking off. Again, as you can see, forming up, organized, coordinated, nonviolent, peaceful. We're just coming to go vote and do what we said we were going to do. Next picture, next picture. As you can see, the Floyd family was still here with us on this day. They did not have to be, but they came for both marches, and they stayed and were very excited to be here. And, you know, we met them with open arms, and they were very enthusiastic. Go ahead, next picture. We, again, had a special guest like the mayor of Burlington. See, you probably wouldn't even known that because of the headlines that came out from this march, but we actually had elected officials there to support us. We had people who actually acknowledged what we were doing in the streets and were very grateful for what we were doing and what we said we had come to do. So, you know, that's one of the things I just felt like we needed to point out today.
And one of the other things that we need to point out is that it was October 31st, which was the last day of early voting. It was the last day where you could vote at any precinct that you went to. It didn't matter if you were supposed to be there or not. It's early voting, so you could vote at any location. And, you know, it wasn't surprising when the sheriff's department got violent. Because, once again, this is North Carolina, a state that is known for its voter suppression laws, for its history in splitting North Carolina A&T straight down the middle, because we are the largest HBCU in that, because our vote can sway the election and can sway the direction of this country. So it was more than just, they were violating, they didn't have a permit or anything that they tried to say that we violated or we did illegally. It was a voter suppression tactic. And one of the things that you also didn't get to see was after that, when we were outside the jail, everybody was corralling and waiting because we refused to leave our fellow brothers and sisters behind. We refused to forget about them. And even some of them didn't get a chance to vote that day. Because, once again, racism and voter suppression struck.
I couldn't even imagine. Like, watching it, like I said in the first video, it just feels so real all over again. Mm-hmm. Now, I wasn't physically in attendance at this march in particular, but still, just watching it is so like jarring because it's like I cannot believe that this happened. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you know, I'm from Florida. You know, mm-hmm. I don't necessarily really deal with the whole. Well, when I was growing up, should I say, I didn't really deal with a whole lot of racism. And then coming here, it's like it's a culture shock because I'm like, this is like a whole new world to me. I don't really know. And then you realize that this stuff is very real and it's happening. Like this is our reality. And so this is why we march. This is why we protest. This is why we rally, you know, to make change in the system. Because especially in cities like Graham and Alamance County, you know, it's been just embedded into the soil for so long, and the people don't want to change, and so we're here to make that change.
Well, even if there are people who do want to change, and as we've seen, those who march with us want it, you know, they haven't had that voice or just a charge or a call to action that they can rally behind that they can believe change is within their reach.
Yeah.
So, we just thank God for what he's done through us to be able to help be that catalyst of change for people who want this to be over with, And, even though the police came out that day and their efforts were to shut us down, God saw it another way.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Even though this was the last day of early voting, we were still determined to make sure people got to those polls.
Yes.
And so what did? We had a march on voting day.
Another one.
And, with this march right here, it was very eventful and it was very meaningful. But I don't want to talk about it. I'm going to toss this to our sister, Amore, and she's going to tell you about it. Amore, talk to us.
Talk to us, sis.
So every time I see what happened on October 31st, I get a little emotional because I still can't believe that they did that to us, that they did that to my family, that they did that to my friends. Like, we're used to seeing that in history books. We're used to seeing them hose people with water hoses, and we're used to seeing that stuff happen in the past, but to see it happen before your eyes was just something else. I'm gonna talk about that march one more time, but I remember our pastor saying, we came in peace, but you have disrupted our peace. And we did come in peace, but what happened that day didn't interrupt what was going to happen. 2 days later, on November 3rd, we had another march, and over 2,000 people came out to march with us. People flew in, people drove hours just to be with us because they seen how we were treated in Graham. And I think Martin Luther King's quote, hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. Love cannot drive out darkness. Darkness can drive out love. But I think that's why our marches were so powerful, that we didn't think, okay, let's fight back, but we decided that we were going to fight back with our nonviolence. As we were walking up to that space, there was counter protesters that met us there, and we didn't match their aggression. But I want you guys to see the clip.
We're going to leave in peace. As a matter of fact, when you look at our brothers over there and our sisters over there and tell them, we love you. We love you so much. We love you. 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 We forgive you. We forgive you.
Revolutionary.
We forgive you. We forgive you. Beloved community, stay on the sidewalks. Stay on the sidewalks.
That moment was so powerful. I hope you were able to feel what we felt in that moment, to not greet our enemies with hate, but to let them know that we still love you. Now, in response to our love, I want you guys to see what we were approached with. Corey, can you roll the clip?
That would mean black power, guys. That's what he's saying. Black power. Don't mean black power. And what happened to unity? Ignore. Black Lives Matter. Bull.
As you can see, our work is still not done in Alamance County, and we aren't going to let up. In fact, we were just there this Friday, and we're going to keep going back until we see the change that we want to see happen in that county. But we're not done. I'm about to toss it back to Shay and Dre so we can continue on with this.
Yes. So, like Amore said, our work isn't done. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't the last March of 2020.
No.
So we want to go ahead and toss it to Bria so she can let us know about the Ready for Change March. that happened on
November 29th.
November 29th.
I got you.
Thank you. November 29th, 2020. That was the last March of the year. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean it's the last March period, because like we said, we're still not done. So Bria, let us know, girl, what happened on November 29th.
All right. Hello, everyone. So November 29th. Okay, so first of all, one of my, I guess you could say, favorite or most memorable moments was as we were marching. You know, we're chanting, singing our songs, saying our chants. We're just feeling it. This is what we do. At this point, we got 3 marches that we've planned under our belt, and we've been to some other protests, but we're marching through Alamance County and Graham, and we're just marching, and the police are trying to figure out where we're going. And I just love the fact that our pastor, Reverend Drumwright, and the organizers that helped mapped out just this strategic route, and they were so confused. They didn't know where we were headed. Yeah. And so there's this video that I want you guys to see, because they thought they knew.
Nobody turn me around. Come on, y'all, turn me around. Turn me around. Hey,
keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let no police turn me around.
What do we want? Come on, say it. Be ready for change. They thought we was going to that monument. Be ready. Come on. Be ready. We ready. Be ready for change. Come on, Graham. Be ready. Everybody say, be ready. We ready. Be ready for change. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. Say the people united will never be defeated. You say the people united will never be defeated.
Okay, they thought we was going to that monument for me. Okay. It was just the confidence, like, okay, so you never know what's going to happen with J4TNG, so don't get comfortable. Don't think you have us figured out, because we follow God, okay? So, and we ended up going to the courthouse, and I just loved it. I loved the energy and just the whole reason why we're doing this. And so there's one more video I want y'all to see, and this was on our way to the courthouse. We actually stopped past the jail. And y'all, I wish that you could hear it in the video, but when we stopped past that jail, we could in the moment hear the people in there banging on the walls and the windows, and you can just feel the unity that was there in that moment. But just check out the video.
As we stand here, we can hear them beating on the windows. Let's make some noise so that they will know we're out here for them. This is what democracy looks like. Those who are in that jail, many of whom may be innocent, that is what hypocrisy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
That is what hypocrisy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
That is what hypocrisy looks like.
That is what hypocrisy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
We are putting you on notice.
Terry Johnson's got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Terry Johnson's got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Terry Johnson's got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Terry Johnson's got to go. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Terry Johnson's got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Terry Johnson's got to go.
We demand an apology.
We want an apology.
And all of you sheriff deputies that are standing by, if it was your sons and your daughters, you would want an apology too. If it was your parents, if it was your grandparents, if it was your children, your babies, your elders, you would want an apology too.
I demand my apology.
Hold on, Pastor Janet. Hold on, she has something.
I still suffer from that pepper.
They know they crooked. He should be ashamed of himself that you stand with these white racist people. Shame of yourself.
I'm tired. Ain't none of y'all call me. Ain't none been by. You know where I stay. I'm still suffering today. I have to do breathing treatment. I'm tired.
Man, you sick and tired.
I suffer every night. Can't sleep. Can't go down the street.
All right. You got one.
Oh my gosh. Like, whew. It's like you never understand the trauma of marching and protesting until you've been in situations like that.
Yeah.
Like, hearing Miss Janet just like pour out her feelings and emotions and her frustration with the system because on the October 31st march, she was pushed out of her wheelchair and pepper spray. You heard her say, you know, I'm still suffering to this day.
Yeah.
I have to have breathing treatments. You know, I can't do what I'm used to doing. I had to get a new wheelchair. Nobody called me. Like, can you imagine that being your grandmother, your aunt? Child.
That made me mad. Think about it.
Okay. And like me being there, it was very just emotional from the inmates just banging on the windows and saying like, we see you, we hear you, like, thank you for being out here.
Yeah.
And then y'all, I almost got arrested that day.
She did.
Like, kid you not, because if you watched in the video, you saw the police like slowly approaching the curb and the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And so they kept saying, you know, get off the sidewalk. You know, me just being a media girl, I'm doing my job.
Right, you gotta get a shot.
And Pastor snatched me up so fast. It was just my heart. I was like, oh my God, I can't go to jail. You know what my mama gonna say?
Yeah, that's real.
But no, seriously, y'all. It's things are really unpredictable on those front lines of justice, but I would have it no other way. I promise you.
Yeah. So, family, you know, today we just want to share some of our memorable moments and just reflections on everything we've been through thus far and experienced thus far on our justice journey. But it's not over yet.
Nope.
Now, we've already teed up at the beginning of this broadcast what we're doing tomorrow. So we want to let you know again, tomorrow at 2 p.m., we will be marching and standing with the family of Andrew Brown Jr.
Yes.
This man right here who was gunned down senselessly. He should be here today, family. A lot of people should be here today. But this one, we don't know what it is about it. We don't know if this could be another George Floyd. We don't know. But that's not what we're here for. We're here to stand in solidarity with this man's family, letting him know we hear you, we see you. So tomorrow in Elizabeth City at 2 p.m., be there with us. If you know people out there, call them out. And look, if you need a way to get there from Greensboro, there's a solution. We got a solution. We have a bus going down to the march tomorrow. There's still some seats left. I believe there's roughly about 14 or so. So look, if you want to go, if you want to stand with us, we're leaving at 6 a.m. tomorrow from Walmart on West Wendover Avenue. Yes. Now look, this ain't a free trip, you know. So if you want to go on the bus, it's a $40 charge. As you can see right there, look, justice needs to be served, but it costs to bring it sometimes. So, you know, it is definitely something that is hopefully affordable for everyone. But, you know, we definitely understand if you can't make it. But please, family, look, you don't want to miss this opportunity.
Yes.
You don't.
And also, if you are a resident of the Alamance County community or surrounding communities, there is a bus also leaving from Graham at 6:30 a.m. From the Walmart on, I believe it's Maple Avenue. Do you have that flyer, Corey? Throw that up there so we can get you guys the correct information. When you see it, take a screenshot. Okay, we don't have the flyer, never mind. But we'll make sure that we send those out to all of our corresponding Graham residents. We'll be sure to post it on our Facebook page so you guys can have access to that information. And also you can find it on www.citadelofpraise.com.
Yes. And look, if you were blessed by this broadcast today, and if you just stand in solidarity with what we're doing, please sow and support, not just the Citadel of Praise, but Justice for the Next Generation. We travel all over the country, not because we're doing it for clout, not because we're doing it for show, but because we really want to make sure that people who are experiencing these injustices, that their voices are heard.
Absolutely.
So please, family, any support that you can lend to us, we greatly appreciate it. And please continue to keep our pastor in prayer as well, as he's on the front lines of justice as well, being our leader as we follow him ever so graciously.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's it.
That's what we have for you guys today.
It's a wrap, y'all. Thank you for tuning in to this special edition of Live at 5, and we will catch y'all on the front lines tomorrow.
That's right.
Have a great night.